We're going to be comparing 3 different router tables that you can buy on the market. It's March 28, 2019. We're looking at the Kobalt router table combo kit versus the Craftsman die-cast aluminum router table, as well as the MDF board router table. We're going to be unboxing all 3. The Kobalt router table combo kit comes for $169.99 at Lowe's. It includes the table along with the router and some accessories. Then we have the Craftsman router table model 37599, which is simply the MDF board on a plastic base with kickback guards and the miter guide. This sells for $59.99. I've seen it as low as $54 online, $54.99 online. Then we have the Craftsman die-cast aluminum router table model 37596 that sells for $129.99 at Sears. This particular die-cast aluminum router table is no longer made. It's no longer manufactured. You can probably find the 1 or 2 that are left in certain hometown stores somewhere around the country, but you have to go digging for it. This one I particularly had to drive 400 miles to get, and we'll talk about why I did that. We're also going to be talking a little about some router some router bits, and we're going to talk about routers. This one's the Craftsman digital router. Okay, so let's begin. We're going to begin by unboxing everything. So let's first start out with some of the reasons I decided to buy a router table instead of make one myself. First of all, I felt it was more cost and time effective to just buy the table for under $200. I did look at the Bosch table, but I chose against the Bosch table because there were 2 different types of Bosch. One was for $169.99 and the other one was for $199. Approximately $225 or so on at Lowe's. I chose against the Bosch because I didn't find I was getting any much more value for the price than I would with the Kobalt or Craftsman. And I wanted the miter. I really wanted the miter guide, which each of these provide. In the process of making my decision, I also had to really make a hard decision between this particular router table, which comes with an all aluminum table, versus the MDF versus the Craftsman. And we're going to talk about why I chose the Craftsman ultimately over the Kobalts and the MDF boards. I also didn't choose the Bosch boards, Bosch tables, because they're in MDF form, MDF tables, and I live in a place that's highly humid and things do tend to warp over time, and I didn't want to get into that. The cool thing about the Kobalt router table combo kit is it comes with a 5-year limited warranty. This is model 857432, and what we get with it is a 12 amp 2 horsepower router. This is a fixed, not a plunge based router. It's a fixed speed, so you turn it on and that's it. Its maximum speed is 25,000 RPMs, and you can calculate the amount of watts based on taking the volts times the current, so 120 times 12, and dividing that by 745, and you're going to get something around 2 horsepower. This is actually a little under 2 horsepower. Okay, so it has a built-in LED work lights, a macro and micro fine adjustments, cast aluminum base. And then the table is not much different than the Craftsman. In fact, the guides look almost exactly the same. This looks exactly the same as the Craftsman guide. It comes with two rings, the micro adjuster, and the wrench. And then the base is plastic. The table is metal, which is really great. We're going to look at the sizes of the different tables, and we're going to compare the quality overall. So one of the big things about people trying to decide between these particular kits and building their own is some people don't want these plastic bases, but I can tell you that you want plastic bases, because when it comes to cleaning up and for lugging around, you're going to want that plastic. They're very, very sturdy. So here we go. We're unboxing this Kobalt. Kobalt's a great brand. I love the quality that they have. So this is what you get when you start out with opening it up. You get a nice aluminum guide. Okay, this part here is plastic, but the rest is metal, and you get the dust cover, and you get a very strong, sturdy tube for the vacuum port. You don't have any micro adjustments on the guide, but you can make some changes with it. Okay, so I'm going to put this aside. So that table fence, this is mostly metal, but this part I think is this part. Yeah, that part's plastic. Okay, so then in the box that comes within the box, you'll find the switch. People complained about this switch being of inferior quality, but I can tell you there's absolutely nothing wrong with it. It doesn't wiggle a little. It does, but all of them do this. They're all made probably by the same company. It's fine. Just make sure when you install it, put it a little bit back so your shirt doesn't grab it and accidentally kick on your router. So that's that. And then there is, we can remove that big box base. And you have the router itself. You have the guide. This is just a cheap guide. These this width is not the same as the Craftsman. Okay, so I can show you here in my Craftsman digital router. This guide, which got bent during shipping, is not exactly the same. So you can see that that is thinner. And even though it's roughly the same design, the holes are thinner for the Craftsman. Okay, so you get the guide, you get the router. This is a sturdy router. Now again, for $169, you're getting a router with a table, ready to go. High quality Kobalt. But the problem with this is it's fixed speed, and you're not really going to be able to use it for a huge number of applications. This is one major reason why I'm not going to keep this. I already bought a router. I bought a variable speed router. I bought the Craftsman digital router. It's a 14 amp. Okay, so that's that. Okay, And then in this little box you get the kickback guards. So these little pieces of plastic are a little bit flexible and it prevents the kickback. Okay, and then you also get your miter gauge. So we'll talk about this miter gauge and why this miter gauge is actually a little bit better than the Craftsman. So in there you'll have your plastic guard for desk cover as a desk cover, and then you'll have two little, actually it comes with 3 rings. These just snap in. Okay. That is something I'm not going to even care about. So what we're going to do now is we're going to pull out the table. And let's talk a little bit about that table. So okay, so you'll see that it comes nicely packaged. Let's pull it out and let's look at that table. And you also get the plastic stands. Now these plastic stands are pretty much the same for either Craftsman or Kobalt, so I'm not really gonna spend any time talking about them, unless height and colors and stuff like that matter. I don't think there's any point. Alright, so this is our Kobalt. Now, if we look at this table, you can see that it's nicely machine engraved. It's very smooth, except for a very thin grating. Okay, so it comes with a ruler, guide, and then these little guides here, these horizontal guides, and the horizontal ruler is only so long. I don't have the exact dimensions of this table, but we can find that out here. But let me first show you here how the miter guide goes in. This is great because the Craftsman table doesn't, it just slops on and falls off. So this is really nice. Okay. And then when we put the fence on it, okay, that's what it would look like. So let's talk about the spacing. The spacing for this table is such that it should work with a Craftsman router and most routers. The holes do line up. I checked it. So you're able to actually use a Craftsman router with the Kobalt table. And now I'll go underneath. So we can look at the bottom, and that's what it looks like. It's got some of its sturdy aluminumness from these ridges. I think it's a well-designed table. I think it's really good quality, but we're going to show and see the difference when we look at the Craftsman. So now what we're going to do is we're going to unbox the Craftsman aluminum table. And what we have in this table is, in this kit, it comes with the miter guide. Note the gradients between the Craftsman and the Kobalt. So you see these very big letters, and here it's hard to read, but they do have the micro. This also has a micro scale, but these are really big and clear. Okay, same thing, the legs are made of plastic. I think the width of this is a little bit smaller, but I frankly don't care. Okay, now this is what I care about the most, is the table. So what we're gonna do is so what we see here immediately is that the Craftsman table putting both tables side by side. Okay, so you automatically get the Craftsman table. Take this out. Okay. So first of all, let's just compare sizes. The size of the Craftsman table is a wee bit smaller than that of the